Right, here's what I've done. I think it's methodical. So what I did is I set the ruler. Oh god, it looks like my skin's sloughing off. It's just glue, but it's awful. It feels awful. I have my 80mm reference line there, and I set it to 80mm like that, and I marked it on this member. Fucking fed up of walking into that and that member. Okay, so I've got my line, know where it is. I'd already screwed these and I put some tape in there for the glue up. Yeah, but it won't. I told you it won't stick to this oil wood. It just falls back off again. So if when any glue comes through there, super glue, whatever I decide to put in there, right? Well, I mean this is just the thickness of the blade of the jigsaw blade. Literally, that's all that is. So all I've got to do is put some. I might even have to put some jaspers in, yeah. You know, put some jaspers in the bottom to grip that together. That was probably going to be the best solution. I'll just use some in there, maybe one big one here afterwards. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill through that portion there and that portion over there and this one that way and put some screws in, long screws, that long, not these, they're too short. This is what's in here, they're in there, they're only going in a little bit. I don't want them coming out the bottom, but they're too short for that, and they have to be substantial. These are not very good. Some of them are crap. You get a batch and they're just absolutely totally useless. It's not going to be that's way too long. These, probably going to be a couple of these like that, and they'll just go straight into there. They'll be countersunk deep, so they're underneath the surface. When I start to playing or whatever, they're going to be in there permanently, not coming back out. They're staying there. They will actually set when they screw in, as they screw in, they'll set this depth. So that one will probably go in there underneath that one somewhere. And I'll put one, maybe a shorter one there, and another one just to lock it. Keep that. This thing has now gone square. Look, yeah. Look, it's gone square. It's flatted it. It flatted it all the way down now. It looks really good. All because it went into there. Can you see how it's gone into there? If you'd have done a straight cut, it wouldn't have never bent. You need to do this falling away cut to allow it to somewhere to go. Always, you know, you can't just put a straight cut in and think it's going to bend. It won't. You need to put that. You need to do the work. You need to do the thing. Okay, so now I'm going to flip it over. I can take the clamps off because they were just holding it while I put these screws in. I wanted to make sure they're located on the line, so I should be able to just get them off now and get them out of the way. It won't move. Right, so that's one. Clamps are they're good and they're bad. Screws are the best. They're out of the way. They're in and they're done, and you can forget about them. But clamps, they're good. They're good for one thing and bad for another. And now I've got a real bad situation here in that I've got this. These are at the same level as that. That should be there, and this is now going to cause a problem. So I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to drill and put those screws in. Okay, I'm going to put glue screws in there, and when they bond, we'll get a little bit of glue in here that'll bond that and lock that together. No matter what happens, it can't move again. And then I can just fill it with whatever I've got. I could even get some epoxy resin and do that. Just pour it into the gap, super glue, whatever goes in,